Pictures? Movies.
Coming out. If you have an absentee ballot, you can take the absentee ballot in to the front door now where they will direct you. Only if you have an absentee ballot with you. If you have an absentee ballot with you, you can go to the front door and then they will direct you. If you have an absentee ballot, you can go right now to the front door where they will direct you. That's not it. An absentee ballot is a ballot that you've already filled out that was sent to you in the mail. Excuse me. Yes, you can take that. You can take the front door and someone there will direct you. Yes, into the front door of the building and someone there will direct you. Yes. Is this alternative to the public side over the city to the bank? I don't know what this guy is. 55. And as we were sitting when we first had her.
Because they're walking in the streets getting in line.
Oh, so the end of the line's not that way? It's all the way over there?
It's going down there, then it goes on this side, and then back down to Bellevue Hospital, just so you know.
Wow, okay, thank you so much for that.
You're very welcome. Thank you for keeping us safe. Maybe I should go back there. I want to make sure that people get out.
Excuse me, can I ask how long you've been waiting?
I came at 9.
Excuse me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
This is the end of the line.
Make sure our votes counted and to get it done and support our opinions.
When did you line up to vote this morning?
We're here about 7:30.
7:30?
Yeah.
Why did you feel it's important to come so early in the morning?
We expected a long line and just wanted to make sure that we did it as soon as possible.
Was there a symbolic thing about getting your vote in as soon as possible? Was there a symbolic element of getting your vote in the very earliest possible?
No,
Just convenience, or?
just to make sure it was done. We had a mail-in ballot, but just to be sure, we wanted to make sure that we dropped it off at the polling site itself.
Were you worried about the mail-in ballot possibly causing problems?
I was concerned about the potential for phony legal actions by the president, and wanted to make sure that our ballots were counted.
And have you ever early voted before?
Never.
It's the first time in New York, right? I think this is the first time they've had early
I
voting.
think it is as well.
Yeah.
My 15th election, and this is the most important one I've ever voted in.
What was your first election?
For John Kennedy, 1960.
And then he won.
He did.
And how did you feel about that at the time?
Of course, I felt great.
Just tell me briefly what that was a big deal at that time.
Why at that time was a big deal?
Yeah.
I thought he could change America in a positive way with his policies.
And then you voted for Johnson 4 years later?
I did.
Okay. And then fast forward to 2016. How did that result strike you?
As bad as America has ever done in voting for a president, only to be proven worse than I ever expected it could possibly be.
Yeah.
That tells you kind of my perspective.
Uh-huh. So would you call it, like, on a scale of events in your life, like, where would you rate it in terms of magnitude?
Probably a 12 out of 10. As bad.
Uh-huh. And has the last 4 years been as bad as you thought it would be?
It's much, much worse.
Yeah.
I couldn't have conceived of how poorly the country has moved towards the autocracy that this administration has implemented, and the total lack of anything within the constitutional republic in which we live. Worst I've ever seen by far.
And if how confident are you of better results for you this time?
I'm confident, but I'm not overconfident. I don't trust what this current administration and president is willing to do to maintain power.
And if Trump wins, what then?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And I don't want to particularly go on record for saying some of the things I'm thinking.
Okay.
But I won't be happy.
Can I ask your name, please?
I prefer not.
Okay, and your occupation?
I'm retired.
And what you did before retiring?
I worked in the financial services industry.
Okay, but there's a lot of Trump supporters in the financial services industry, aren't there? So you're an outlier?
I hope I'm not an outlier.
Okay.
I think those that support him, like most Republicans, are primarily interested in themselves and not the society in which we live and the country in which we live. I think, as the expression that I've heard is, the Republicans are about me and the Democrats are about we.
Great, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Very much appreciated.
Have a good day.
We're asking people, why they came out early to vote this year.
Important, very important.
How so?
Well, wanted to support early voting because it's a great thing, and to be sure we got our vote in because it's very important to vote this year.
Okay. What time did you come this morning?
We got here about 9:15.
Yeah. And how long did you wait approximately?
Well, line started moving at 10, and so we got in. We were done at 10:45.
Okay.
So
is that
very well done.
an hour and a half?
About.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was this your first time voting early?
I voted early in the primary, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this the first year that they've had early?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Early
right.
voting's new here.
Okay.
Very, very well organized.
Yeah, very
Yeah?
well done.
Wonderful people working here. Incredibly helpful, very efficient, very effective. It was
Yeah.
a great
Great
experience.
spirit and
Great experience.
yeah,
Can I ask
very
you
good.
what the first year you voted in, or the first president you voted for was?
Oh dear. I don't know. Let's see.
For me, it was Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, I mean I'm 73, so I really can't remember.
Did you
Sorry
vote?
about
Did you
that.
vote in 1960 for
Well,
the
I would have voted in.
Kennedy versus Nixon?
I was born in 47,
Uh-huh.
so I didn't vote in 60. No, I would have just been 13. I might have voted in 70 or 68.
Okay.
Probably 68.
68.
I voted Democratic all the time, so
Uh-huh.
whoever.
Great mask.
Yeah, I love that mask.
MoveOn.org.
Can I ask you how? I assume you voted in 2016,
Yes.
and how impactful was the result of that election in your life?
It's been a tough 4 years, let's put it that way.
How so?
I mean, just one outrage after another.
Uh-huh. What are some of the biggest outrages to you?
I'm not going to go into details.
Uh-huh. Can I ask you how you feel about the prospects for this year's results?
I'm hopeful.
Uh-huh. And how hopeful are you?
Well, I'm very hopeful.
Yeah. What if the results aren't to your liking?
We'll live through it, and I have trust and faith in our democracy,
Uh-huh.
and that's why I'm hopeful.
Do you have anybody in your life who's a staunch Trump supporter?
I do not. Not in my immediate life. One friend, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right, thanks so much.
Okay, thank
Can I ask
you.
your name?
No, I'm not going to give my
No
name.
problem.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Doc.
So you must be very patriotic people to come out and vote first thing in the morning.
Well, I guess so, yeah.
Was there any symbolism in coming out as early as possible to cast your vote?
Just to get it over.
Not symbolism.
Yeah,
Just get it over with?
yeah, be done with
What,
it.
what time did you line up this morning?
Well, what did we get here? About 10 o'clock we got in the drop-off line. We were going to wait in the other line, but it was pretty long.
Oh, you did the drop-off
We
line?
wanted to vote in person just because we like to do that.
Uh-huh.
But we also brought our ballots along, which had a stamp on it, so we had a backup plan. And the drop-off line was much shorter.
Even though it still seems to have taken about an
satisfying to
hour.
drop it off.
Well, we walked the line and it took almost an hour just to walk the line.
Oh, really?
I mean,
I don't even know
10
how
minutes
far
to
it
walk
goes.
the line.
It
One
goes
thing-
across this other street, doesn't it? Doesn't it go across
It goes,
26th Street?
it goes around and then down and then back and then over
Oh,
there.
so we just kind of came right here. Once we just saw that, decided, yeah, let's just drop off.
Okay.
One thing I
They're filled
appreciated
out.
was once you were in the building, there were several escorts not far apart, taking you in and ushering you out. It was well organized, and I felt safe.
Social distance, everyone seemed respectful.
So, you remember the first time you voted for president?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
No.
I do. A long time ago.
Okay.
I was 18 and I voted for Richard Nixon.
Ooh.
You voted for Richard
That's
Nixon?
it. I didn't know any better.
Oh, I never knew that. Ooh.
I told you that.
And how'd you feel about the results at the time?
At the time,
Yeah.
fine.
And when he was impeached a few years later?
I didn't tell anybody. Well, it was a joke.
Oh, you're going to get
No.
caught.
Were you, is that the, so how, did you vote for any other Republicans after him?
Never voted for any other Republican.
Why is that?
Because the deciding factor for me, I think when I voted the first time also, was abortion. If you're not, I was a college student. And I figured if somebody thought abortion was okay, I wasn't going to vote for them.
Really?
I mean, not okay. I'm pro-choice. I always have been.
Uh-huh. And that was an issue back even...
In 1969 or 70, whatever that was.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then I assume you voted in 2016.
Of course.
And how did the results of that election affect you at the time?
Yeah. I just noticing this morning, Facebook memories when they show you, what you posted a year ago. It's like I've spent the past 4 years being outraged every day. It seems like, just based on what I had to say, so that's how.
The shock and dismay after we saw the returns. I mean, I went to bed because I couldn't stay up watching the turns anymore. And I was completely shocked the next morning. But I learned something. What I learned was, when it comes to elections, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. Never assume. And I don't assume about this election. I do not assume that Joe Biden is going to win. I do not.
How worried are you?
Huh?
How worried are you about
I
that?
try not to worry.
Uh-huh.
I'm worried. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I think that there are 3 key states.
Is there anything about the administration of the last 4 years by this administration that has impacted you personally?
All of
Yes,
it.
I
feel
would
like
say,
all of it.
yeah, all of it. I would say any issues on the environment, any LGBTQ issues. Those are the first things that come to mind. Certainly, I think the judiciary system, will somehow end up impacting us. The conservative appointments on the judiciary.
I also think that the fact that they want to repeal the health care, the ACA is ridiculous. Everyone calls it Obamacare. Are you kidding me?
Do you have that health care?
Yes, I do.
And
No, I don't. I
Oh,
applied for it.
Medicare. Yeah.
you have Medicare?
Yeah. We're all-
Did you ever have Obamacare?
No, I applied for it. Didn't qualify.
Well, we were already, 4 years ago, probably started.
So, if Trump wins this time, then what?
I can't even imagine then what. I don't know. What would happen to the country,
I
to
think
democracy. I think he's pretty well. I think things like, oh my God, who is he going to try to throw in jail, what opponents, or if Obama's going to end up in jail or somehow, threatened. So yeah, I think it would be pretty dangerous times, and I don't know.
So I assume
You
you,
know.
I assume you voted for Biden.
Biden,
How
yes.
did you feel about voting? Was it a strong vote for him, or was it a vote against Trump?
Oh well,
vote against Trump.
I gotta say it's
It was
a
a
that-
vote against
a
Trump.
vote against Trump. I
Yeah.
think,
He
and
was not my first choice.
Who was your first choice then?
I was rooting for Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren. Okay. And his Vice President Kamala Harris. How do you feel about her?
I'm thrilled.
What?
I'm thrilled
Okay.
that there's a chance that she could succeed by. That would be great.
I think they are politicians. Will they do everything right? No. Will they make mistakes? Yes. Oh, hi. We're being interviewed.
Hey.
I wanted to wait.
Well, I gave up on the in person, and then just came around to this one, and this was about maybe 10 minutes,
Yeah.
maybe 15.
Yeah.
Just
max.
next to our film.
Yeah. She was waiting in line.
So Kamala
before we
Harris.
But
got
the
there.
longer one was an hour.
For their YouTube.
I think having a woman
New York
president
City.
is long overdue, and I would be thrilled if it was a black woman president. They are the most overlooked and discriminated against group, probably in the world, but definitely in our country, because of institutionalized racism. And I think leadership from a black woman would be an incredible breakthrough, and would begin to do something to change the system to help the underserved in our country. So I'm thrilled.
Okay. Can I
I'm
have your name?
emotional about it.
And that's
Your name?
I'm emotional about it.
a half hour ago.
What? How so? I mean, were you emotional the day after Trump was elected? Do you remember having an emotion? Any emotions?
I get emotional about things that inspire and things that I think are extremely positive, like a Hallmark commercial. No, I think the fact that Kamala Harris could represent not only the black community but all Americans and underserved communities inspires me.
And library. Yes, and library.
We have arrived at that possibility is something great. Yeah.
Okay, thanks so much. Can I have your name
Marshall Butt.
and your occupation? If your occupation?
I'm retired, semi-retired, ESL teacher, former advertising man.
Hi.
Hi.
So, congratulate me. I just early voted, and I feel really proud and lucky that we still have the right to vote.
Okay.
And
Talk to me.
Hi.
Hello. What's your name?
I'm Kelly.
Okay. What time did you come out today, Kelly?
Around 8:40 this morning,
Oh,
and I have my chair.
and why come out so early when there's so many days left?
Actually, I guess the anticipation of it all for so long, months and months of things going on, I wanted to be able to check that off, file it away. It's important enough to go out and do these things and get on with life, So that's pretty much why. I have a 13, almost 14-year-old that I've got to focus on him. So I wanted to get the vote and show him how important it was to,
Was there anything symbolic about voting as soon as you possibly could? Or?
I think that, once again, if something's really important to you, why put off tomorrow what you can do today? And voting is an inalienable right for those of age to be able to express what's important. And I wanted to show by example to my son.
Do you remember the first time you voted?
At almost 56. I think it was some time ago. I lived in Canarsie, Brooklyn, where I grew up. And I think I was getting ready to go to college that year. And I went with my mother, and it was the first time mom and daughter, I was like an equal as far as an adult's concerned. And I remember that was in Canarsie, Brooklyn, many years ago.
Do you remember who you voted for?
Well, being a Democrat, I'm also a human being, so I try to vote with the ideals of the person, the integrity of their character. And sometimes it's not always going to be Democrat, and that was eons ago. But for the most part, of late, it's been Democrat.
And who
So-
was that person?
Who did I vote for?
Yeah,
I voted for Biden and Kamala Harris.
not, okay. I meant the first time you voted.
Oh my gosh, you really am putting my age. Well, I remember when we had caucus, way back when. It was long before Carter. Part of being almost 56 is your memory is shot. But I know I voted for Carter. I voted for, I have a mommy brain.
No, I
But
assume-
along those lines.
I'm assuming you voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I did vote for her.
And how enthusiastic were you to vote for her at the time?
Extremely enthusiastic, but more importantly, I was hopeful. And I'm still hopeful today. Regardless of the outcome, I'm hoping with evolution and things that transpire in our lives that even the things that haven't been going well might go well. God forbid we don't get who we want. Let's hope that whoever we do get transforms and things evolve to a better place.
Do you feel, were you a stronger supporter, do you think, of Hillary or of Biden?
I'm equal, even though what is up against us is far more insurmountable, but it can be achieved now than it was then. But my integrity has never wavered. It's always at the same level. It's not that I'm a little bit or a lot. To have integrity, you either have it or you don't. There are no levels of it. So my eagerness or to vote this time is no different than last time. It's just that the stakes are higher.
And integrity is obviously important to you. How do
Yes.
you feel about Trump's integrity?
Well, like I said, I hope for the best. And I hope that there's evolution
Can I ask
in
you-
everyone's character.
Can I ask you to remember back a little bit to 2016, the day after, or when you found out? Do you remember when you found out that Trump won? Can you tell me about that?
I was discouraged. I was disappointed. I didn't vote for him, but I'm a human and I vote for people. I'm an American, and I had hopes that he would turn into what we all need. So while he wasn't a candidate's choice of mine, I gave him my support in that I had hopeful, energy that he would do what was necessary and what's right for all of us.
And how about this time? Are you still hopeful of that?
He hasn't shown up for the job, as far as I'm concerned. And sometimes it's, just because you can in life doesn't always mean you should. And when you know that you're not doing a good job at what you're supposed to be doing, you're supposed to hand it off to someone who can do better. It's like parenting. Your initial integrity is there to want to do well, but if you see you're failing, you should hand off and ask someone to help you. So I'm hoping this time we get a better choice, which I believe is Biden and Kamala. God forbid it's not the case. I still hope that things will evolve and he will evolve to do better.
So how excited are you to have Kamala Harris on the team?
I am ecstatic. It's about time for we women. We stand as one. It's not about image. It's not about color or creed. Women have been in the forefront but haven't gotten the acknowledgement. So I'm extremely proud.
What is it about her that you like?
I like her integrity. That's sort of been the main vein of my answers to you, and it's true. Integrity is so important because the desire to do well is 50% of the battle. Okay, so I believe that Kamala, with the right support in our government and Congress, both they will be the dynamic duo. So I'm very excited, and I think we all should be excited and hopeful and give everyone our best, energy, and we'll see.
Can I ask your name, please?
I'm Kelly.
All right, I asked you that. And your occupation?
I work in talent acquisition, hiring, recruiting.
Okay, thank you very much.
Try to make everyone's life better,
All right,
including yours.
thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. So, I hear that you're 13 years old. Is that right?
Yes, that's true.
And do you remember? So I guess you were 9 when Trump was elected.
I was.
Do you remember that?
I do. My whole class was very upset that was happening. Actually.
How so?
I mean, they were just upset because we know that he's racist and everything, and we just didn't like that from teachers and everything.
And then, do you remember that? Do you remember that actual day?
I don't remember the actual day. I just remember how I felt.
Okay. And you remember how your classmates felt?
Yes, we were all very discouraged about it.
Were there any exceptions? Was anybody happy?
I can't remember anybody. No.
And then the last year, can you think of any way that Trump's administration has affected you personally, or people you know personally?
Yes. One of my friends, my friend's family was had to go back to Mexico, something like that, and it was very troubling for them, and yeah, I felt really bad.
Okay, so they were exported back to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's sad. So they were captured by ICE, or what happened?
I don't know all the facts about it, but I just know it was hard for them.
And how important is it for you that Trump is defeated this time?
I feel very optimistic about it. Hopefully Biden wins the election.
Are you disappointed in America for letting this all come about in the first place?
Yeah, I was, but I'm very hopeful that it'll come around this time.
What if in some wild chance Trump is elected again? How will you respond to that?
I just hope for the best. That's all you can do.
Have you done anything, or do you? Is there anything you felt like you want to do in the future to like make things better, not like this?
Honestly, I don't know what I could do, but I do have a job that I want to do when I grow up, and that's being an engineer. Yeah, technical engineer, nano, and stuff like that. I love technology.
Okay.
So that's kind of my dream, yeah.
Thank you. What's your name?
Samuel.
Thank you, Samuel. Appreciate
Thank
you
you.
talking to us.
Thank you so much. Bye.
So I guess it's going to be another 5 years before he can vote.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It's like Stripey's so excited. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. Excuse me, do you think we could talk to you about your vote today, why it's important to come out on this day?
Absolutely.
Where are you from?
We're a YouTube channel called New York Street. So what time did you come here today?
I got here at 9.
9?
I got here at 10, jumped in line with her.
With her? Okay, so you did the waiting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember where you were when you started lining up?
I was just over on 26th, so almost half a block around.
Okay. And by the time we got here, almost a little bit before 10, it was like all the way.
Yeah,
Three or four blocks
I
more.
got in line and I turned around and it was already going down the street.
So, is there anything symbolic about coming out as soon as you can to vote, or just
I
convenience?
had been tempted with the idea of an absentee ballot, but I needed the visceral pleasure of actually writing that name down
Okay.
and voting that motherfucker out of office.
Do you remember how you felt when you learned that Trump won 4 years ago?
I did. We were at the greatest.
I was crying myself to sleep.
We were at the greatest election night party, and it turned into the worst party I've ever been to. And it's that horrible feeling of regret and dread has lasted 4 years.
We all scattered to go home because everyone was really too upset to be out.
Did the party go as far as? Did some people wait as long as it actually took to get the results?
No, when we all had the app, and when we saw what was happening and there was no
path to victory.
We just were like, I gotta go home.
And how did you feel? Do you remember how you felt when you got
Horrible.
It was just
Devastating.
I felt betrayed and
Yeah.
hopeless and
Worried.
worried. And it was
Very
just
fearful.
it was just an air of malaise that's carried over for the last several years. It's that's why that's why voting for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris was so cathartic for both of us. Like we both almost started crying after we
It was very
scanned our
emotional,
votes.
yeah.
It was crazy.
How hopeful are you about the different result this year?
We are incredibly cautiously and very optimistic. Cautiously optimistic. We don't want to
I
get
was
our
very excited 4 years ago that Hillary was going to be in office, and it was something that I just couldn't imagine how it could possibly happen. So it's hard to be optimistic and hopeful, but we're here. We're trying.
Is this the first time you voted early?
yes,
I think this is the first year they've had early voting in New York City.
I think so.
I've always voted at the place in person.
Anything else?
You tell us.
How are you guys doing?
Well, yeah. It's not about us, but yeah, I know how you're feeling, certainly.
It's a long day for you guys, huh? What
No,
time did you guys
no.
get here?
We haven't been. We came a little bit before 10, and
Yeah.
it's just for our YouTube channel, so it's not a big
All right, best of luck, man.
strain for us.
All
But
right.
yeah, thanks for talking about how you felt 4 years ago, and what are you gonna do if Trump wins again? I mean, what then for America?
I don't think we've allowed ourselves to think that far and that awful. So we're gonna keep.
Is there anything that about his administration in the last 4 years that has affected you or someone you know personally?
Say that again?
Is there anything about the administration that has impacted you or anybody you know in the last 4 years?
Not really. We're very fortunate to be.
I think you have to explain a little more what impact is, because
Well,
anyone who has been harassed or oppressed or anything else, that's all impactful. So I would say yes.
have you been harassed or anything?
No.
Oh.
No.
You know anybody who's been harassed?
I think that the racist remarks, misogyny, and just general xenophobia has hurt a lot of people.
What's been the most appalling thing?
Why choose? I mean, it's all been pretty nasty.
It's the lies. It's the demeaning of the White House. It's the
Not trusting science.
It's the immigration policy. It's the corruption that is really, really startling. The nepotism. It's just gross on every level. It's just I want something boring. I want something normal. I want someone who's going to do
Qualified.
for the country as opposed to someone who's going to do for them.
Do you have any friends or family that voted for Trump?
Yes, I think so.
And how does that make you feel?
That's their choice.
Okay. It doesn't distress you to think about it?
Yeah, it distresses. Yeah, it's just the vote doesn't count as much as the fact that the beliefs behind it are a little disheartening.
I feel like there's just a lack of understanding and empathy, and I understand that everyone's entitled to their own beliefs, and I believe everyone's entitled to their vote. So, I mean,
Okay.
I still love my family.
Right. Of course. Can I ask your names, please?
I'm Craig.
Stephanie,
Stephanie? And your occupations?
I'm in advertising.
I'm an assistant.
Can I ask you where you get some of your news sources?
CNN, ABC,
NPR.
ABC podcasts,
Any newspapers?
New York Times.
Times.
Washington Post. Who else? Yeah, that's about it.
Great. It's been nice talking to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Can I ask you, This isn't your first time voting, I assume.
Oh no,
Okay. Do you remember the first time you voted?
probably 1976.
Yep.
76. So that would have been Jimmy Carter.
Yep.
Same as me, actually. Yeah. Yeah. Except yeah. So I assume you voted 4 years ago, also.
Oh yeah.
And how did you? Do you remember when you learned of the result and how it impacted you?
Oh yeah.
Talk about that.
Well, I was on the subway going downtown, and everybody was devastated, including myself. It was very shocking, and I think unexpected is an understatement. But it was a sad day.
And have you carried that sadness with you the whole 4 years? Or?
I've tried to find some joy, and I've plenty of joy in my life.
Uh-huh.
But sure, certainly, it's every day is another.
If you could rate the 4 years ago when you learned about Trump and the experience of that, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how cataclysmic was that in your life?
25.
What?
Over 10. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Why is that?
I think that we all sort of knew about him. We knew that he was a con artist. I mean, that was no big surprise. I don't think anyone that I knew in New York. But I think that I didn't think it would get this bad. I really didn't. I didn't think it would be nearly to the degree that it has shown itself to be.
What's the
Divisiveness
what distresses
between
you most?
people. Oh, the divisiveness between people.
Uh-huh.
Just, and the inability to understand how other people don't see it, or don't see the danger, or don't see how incredibly serious it is.
Have you had any arguments with friends or family about this?
Oh yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I have family in Atlanta, and it's a different world there. It's that even the COVID thing is very different for them. I mean, they don't always wear masks. They have indoor dining. They go get a haircut. They they live their lives. I love my family in Atlanta, but they're Republicans.
So, tell me, has anything that Trump has done the last 4 years impacted you or somebody you know personally?
Personally. Well, I mean, I've known second degree of people that have died of COVID, and I would say that I have a very close friend that ended his life out of depression. That could be
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So yeah, sure. Yeah.
So.
And just in general, not being able to live our lives. And I think that's impacted all of us.
Why did you come out today instead of wait till election day then?
Because I'm working, and I didn't want to have to take a day off to do it next week. I just didn't want to wait till the last minute. Happy I did it today.
How optimistic or pessimistic are you about the results this time?
I'm really optimistic, but cautiously.
How do you feel about? Were you a big fan of Hillary?
Yes.
And are you a big fan of Biden?
Yes. Yes.
Are you more excited about Biden or Kamala Harris?
Both. I think they're both going to be great.
Do you think Biden can last 4 to 8 years?
Well, can anybody? That's the reality. I hope so. I think he looks great.
What if Trump wins?
Well, it's sad. What if he wins? I don't know. One foot in front of the other. I mean, I think we just have to live with that.
How distressed will you be?
Well, I think I'll cry for sure. No question.
Did you cry 4 years ago?
Oh, I'm sure I did. Shed a tear. Yeah.
Okay. What's your name again?
Beth.
Seth, thank you so much. Do you want to talk?
No, I think she said
okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, can I ask just briefly what your news sources are, major news sources?
So, the New York Times. I do watch MSNBC. I watch the national news on ABC, NBC, or CBS every night. Those are my main sources of information. I don't participate in Facebook anymore. Yeah.
Would you call yourself a liberal?
Oh, yeah.
Have you been a liberal your whole life?
No.
When did that happen?
Gradually.
Uh-huh.
Gradually, as I became a grown-up,
Oh.
you know, and became interested in history, really, which was, you know,
Do
probably
you remember who the first person you voted for was?
Jimmy Carter.
Oh, Jimmy Carter. And did he, 76?
Yeah.
He won 76, right?
You know, it's funny.
And
I
then,
don't
and then
remember,
Reagan won in 80.
I don't remember. I don't think I voted the year that Reagan. I don't even think I voted that year. I think
Okay.
that was 80.
Yeah,
80.
right.
And I voted significant elections. I lived in John Lewis's district in Atlanta, and I voted for him
Uh-huh.
in the 80s or the 90. Anyway, yep. So
How did John Lewis's death impact you?
yes.
How so?
Oh, I thought it was just really, really sad. I think he was an incredible person, a really, you know, amazing
Let me ask you this.
leader.
Are you disappointed in America?
Yeah. I'm surprised at how many people, you know, the white supremacists have come out, the people that have, you know, the alt-right, for lack of a, you know, I don't know what you want to call them. It's upsetting. It's, you know, we always knew they were there, but there's so many.
There's so
It
many.
seems.
Yeah.
So many.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. Thanks.
We need one more picture because our sticker.
We're our children.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, thanks.
Excuse me. Can we talk about your vote today and why you felt it was important to come out early?
Who do you represent?
YouTube channel called New York Street.
Okay.
We're
not
straight. That's right.
I'm straight.
New York Street.
A street.
Yeah, street, not straight. So this is the first time they've had early voting in New York. So what brought you out here today?
Early voting.
Uh-huh.
We did not want to have to wait for the calamities that may happen on election day. So I feel like a burden has been lifted off of me.
Yeah.
So I
Wanted
feel
to
good.
make sure it got done.
What's that?
Wanted to make sure it got done.
Okay.
Make sure our vote is counted as early as possible.
Was there anything symbolic about doing it as early as possible?
I wanted to count immediately.
Enthusiasm for my candidate.
Right.
And we
Uh-huh.
want to make sure there's a fair and free election.
Uh-huh.
So I can come back and vote a few more times.
So yeah, early and often they say.
Yeah.
So can I talk to you about when you voted in 2016? What was that like when you learned the election results? Do you remember what you were doing?
Amazed. Still can't believe it.
We were horrified, crying.
I was on a trip abroad, and America was considered to be a laughingstock at that time because it was so many days after the election and it was still being counted and recounted and stopped and recounted. And I think part of that memory is that wanting us to get it done for sure officially today.
How did you personally feel?
In 2016.
Devastated.
And as bad as the election was, we could not have anticipated what the 4 years has become. It's just a horrific situation. And hopefully this will change.
Has anything about what's happened in the last 4 years affected you personally?
Yes, it's been very depressing.
You can't be a human being with any compassion at all and not have it affect you personally. I don't see how that's possible.
You got a clown running the government.
What's that?
You have a clown running the government.
And the things that support basic human decency have really fallen by the wayside in this administration. And it's a very
I mean, you
terrible
just have to
reflection.
consider family separation at the border and the response to the 225,000 people that died from the virus. Just that reaction alone is despicable. I mean, and this person is a New Yorker, so.
How did you feel? Do you remember what you were doing when you learned that Trump won 2016?
Well, I was shocked. Nobody expected Hillary Clinton to lose and Trump to win. I mean, all the forecasters were wrong. That's why we're kind of insecure now and want to get it out of the way now. So hopefully everyone that
is against Trump will have an opportunity to vote, whether it's absentee ballot or mailing in or coming early or showing up on election day.
Do you know anybody who's a Trump supporter?
Oh, I have a lot of friends that are.
Can you tell me about one of them?
Well, my best friend in the building is a very Trump supporter, and we walk our dogs every day. We're both sports fanatics, and we talk about sports and family, and we never talk politics because we would not be friends if we were. So,
Trump people will vote for him no matter what he does. It's almost irrational. Anything he does which is absurd or unintelligent or anything he does, they ignore it. They just love him, which I don't quite understand.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna make a little change. So, if Trump wins this time,
We'll never survive 4 years.
I don't know what we're going to do.
I don't know how we would survive 4 years. If he holds true to not giving aids to the states, it's going to be a disaster. You're going to have firemen, police, teachers. Everybody's going to get laid off. He's going to destroy the economy. He has no clue what he's doing. He makes it up as he goes along. He thinks it's a reality show. He thinks ratings matter. Ratings don't matter. He doesn't care how many people die. He's clueless.
do you know anybody who's a Trump supporter?
Yes.
Can you tell me about him?
Yeah, they think he's God. They love him, which I don't quite understand. And they will never change their view when you can't even talk to them. You don't even try.
And how does that make you feel?
There's a lot of unintelligent, I hate to say racist people in this country. And they love him.
Are you disappointed in your country?
The way it is now, yeah. Well, could be a lot better, and hopefully it will be.
America has not always been the shining city on the hill. I mean, you just have to look at our history the past 250 years. There's an underlying, very racist, uninclusive part of our population, and unfortunately, Trump has emboldened them to come out. But it's always been there, and it's only going to get worse if he remains in power for another 4 years.
Can I ask you where you get your news from?
MSNBC, CNN. I read a lot of history books.
How about
the
you?
New York Times.
CNN, MSNBC, the papers.
Any newspapers?
The Post, the Times, the ABC News.
How about you?
CNN, I switch back and forth to Fox periodically. A lot of information on social media, the Times, the Post.
You say you watch Fox sometimes?
I do. I switch back and forth. I'm interested in hearing another perspective, even though sometimes it makes me more angry and sick to my stomach. But I do switch back and forth.
Do you know any Trump supporters?
The same ones that my husband knows. So.
All right. How about you? What papers or news do you watch?
The ones that have already been mentioned, the Times, CNN, MSNBC, a lot of social media, but I try to filter the social media and make sure that I'm reading facts as opposed to rumors.
How do you do that?
I'll Google it. If they say Trump yesterday said that the sky is green, I'll look up, did Trump say it yesterday? And it can be verified. That's the thing. We sometimes in our frenzy forget that facts can be verified.
So what if Trump wins? Or what if Trump doesn't win? What if Biden, Kamala Harris win? We still have Fox News, and we still have a third of the country living in a bubble. Can anything be done about that?
Well, hopefully we're not going to have a race war.
Say that again?
I said hopefully we're not going to have a race war.
Do you think that's possible?
Well, I mean, the cultural divide is very wide, and if he's reelected, it's only going to get wider. And if he's not reelected, his supporters are going to be pissed off. So I don't think it's going to bring the country any closer. I think our country has a cultural divide that now is clearly out in the public, and I think it could just make things worse.
How about you?
If Trump loses,
there's a good chance the Republicans and the conservatives will do everything to limit Biden's effectiveness. If the Democrats don't win the Senate, nothing will change. And I hope it'll be better, but I don't know.
Do anybody of you think that, well, let me ask you about Kamala Harris first. Are you excited about Kamala Harris?
Yes, it is very.
Were you more excited about Biden or Hillary Clinton?
I was more excited about Hillary Clinton.
Let me get the camera over to you again.
Sorry, I was more excited about Hillary Clinton because she was a woman, and because I felt that she was one of the most qualified candidates we've ever had in history. And all of the comments that I've heard over the years, the revisionist history that she, was a poor candidate, or that she was, not the right person at the right time, I feel are misogynistic comments. All of that said, I'm very enthusiastic about Joe Biden. He does have the years of experience, and I think if we've learned nothing else in the past 4 years, we've learned that not just any amateur can walk in and become president of the United States, that you need qualifications and you need some basic intelligence.
Was he your first choice?
Who? Joe Biden? I was wavering back and forth between Joe Biden and Mayor Pete, but I was not at all upset when it became Joe Biden.
How do you feel about Kamala Harris?
I feel that she's amazingly qualified, certainly more qualified and diverse, and I don't just mean racially, but diverse in her skills than Mike Pence and so many other vice presidents have been. I think she could easily step into the presidency if that became necessary.
Can I have your name, please?
Elaine.
And you?
Cynthia.
Ron. Peter.
And what's the relationship between all of you?
Best friends.
Friends.
They're married.
Yeah. We're married.
And you?
And best friends.
And so you vote together as well as other stuff.
Yes.
But we're about to go have breakfast together. So.
Oh, they have a free a free democracy something truck right around the corner. They're giving out tacos, I think.
Oh,
We've traveled around the world together.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
It's a non-profit, so we're just trying to make everybody happy on our voting day. Yes.
Kind of sad. I saw.
Free food.
Excuse me. Could you tell me what this is about?
It's about Pizza to the Polls. It's literally just about getting people free food on our voting days.
Who's the organization behind
Celebrating
it?
democracy.
Who's the organization?
That's all I can say. It's just a non-profit thing that we're just doing.
Okay. Hello.
Like a water or a taco?
We like taco, please.
Tacos? Yeah, absolutely. I got you covered right now.
Thank you.
She beats me to it every time.
You got this, sir?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.